Right, you lot. Today I'm going to be talking about Declan Rice. Will he stay at West Ham this transfer window? It's all up in the air at the moment. Obviously, rumours come out yesterday that Chelsea bid £50 million. X come out and said that wasn't true. But the likelihood is Chelsea will be looking at trying to sign him sometime this transfer window. For me, there are two elements to this deal. There's the Chelsea side and the West Ham side. Let's look at the Chelsea one. Chelsea have got a lot of money kicking around. That transfer ban that they had last summer meant that they couldn't spend the money that they were going to spend. And now it's the case that a lot of clubs are willing to sell for a lesser value in order to recoup some of that money. So Chelsea are in a really strong financial position, possibly stronger than most teams in the league, even a Manchester City, who, what you've seen from their business, they've recouped a lot of the Sane fee, spent it on the defenders. Liverpool brought in Tsimikas for 10, 11 million pound. There isn't going to be huge outlays in terms of transfer fees, and even with the Jadon Sancho deal, I think United were offering 70 mil up front with 40 million pounds worth of instalments. So Chelsea are really the only club at the moment that seem to be going out, looking to try and buy Havertz outright. Buying people like Werner, Ziyech, obviously they secured, they've got the money, and then there's rumours that they're looking at Tagliafico or Chilwell at left back, which begs the question, where's their ceiling on their spending, and also how much money will they have available to spend on Declan Rice? One of the key methods that's been mentioned is them selling some of their fringe players, and they're commonly well known to be Batshuayi, Barkley, and those two players are the players that seem to be touted around. There could be more. Tomori on loan is another one, but they'll not recoup. So Chelsea potentially could raise the money to sign Declan Rice, but if they think that £65 million will do it, you're crazy. You might as well just go home, get back to Stamford Bridge, because there is no way Declan Rice is worth 65 million pound in this market. You know, we're looking at a market where Harry Maguire's 80 million, you know, Jadon Sancho's 110, Declan's in around 80, 100% at least. You know, you got to account for the premium that he's a young English player. He's West Ham's biggest asset. He's only going to get better. He's incredibly intelligent on the ball. He's proven that he's versatile. He's one of the highest rated defensive midfielders in the division. I think just behind Fabinho and Ndidi. He will improve as well. His attacking play sets him apart from someone like Ndidi, because now he's starting to add a few goals into his game. He's getting forward a lot more. He's pivotal for West Ham surviving, for West Ham's play, for our whole system, and he's done it with Pellegrini, and now he's doing it with Moyes. So here's obviously the big question from the West Ham perspective. Will the board go? Will they lose their bottle when they get to a certain fee that they think they can either keep for themselves, or that they can use a little bit of that to spend on reinvestment? Now, here's what I've seen from the West Ham transfer window so far. I've seen a lot of rumours, I've seen a lot of rumoured interest, and that interest seems to be concrete. There is interest in Matty Cash, there is interest in Eze, there is interest in Benrahma, there is interest in Manning. There are interested in these players, but what we saw with the Anthony Robinson deal, where a player like that, now I'm not going to speculate, he might be a player that Moyes didn't fancy, and so in fairness you can only give to the end of the window. But if he's passing up on deals like that and not showing any real willingness to add people in, it sort of hints that they're waiting to make some moves. I've heard there's a sort of paper talk this morning that Barini's available on a free. Now, so this is what West Ham fans, and this is what West Ham as a club are dealing with: free transfers and low transfer fees. Apparently, we're in for Matty Cash. You know, we were offering 10 million. They wanted 15, and we won't offer that extra. So this is what I'm trying to get to. Declan Rice, potentially for that West Ham board and for David Moyes, opens up a number of significant transfers at left back, potentially at right back, you know, a number 10, a striker. So many options could happen off of Declan Rice's sale. Now, this is a question for Moyes and the board. Will they go before it's necessary? And what's important to remember with somebody like Declan Rice is you will not replace him for that money. You will not replace. We won't replace him. We won't get somebody in Even if we sell him for 70, 75 mil and we get below that 80 mil valuation, we will not get somebody in of an equivalent player of that age, of that potential. It just won't happen. And even if we could do it, transfer fee and wages, why? I'm telling you now, we would not be able to attract someone into the club just yet. So, can West Ham keep hold of Declan Rice this transfer window? Possibly. I don't think it's down to the player. I think the player would play for one more season for West Ham. And I think a lot of West Ham fans are in agreement here. If you want to try and keep him, give him a new contract. Give him 100k a week. Make him captain of the first team. Do it. Do it even if it's for one season, because Declan Rice next season will be our most important player. He plays every single game. He doesn't miss anything. He's getting better and better and better. If he even starts to add a few goals to the game, you know, and it's not just about his contribution. You know, the benefit that he has now with Souček, our midfield's more stronger, it's athletic, you know. We can defend deep, but we can get forward, frees up our attacking talent that we've already got. He's pivotal to all of that, and he can slot in centre-back when he needs to. So it's a question that he will stay, I believe. I don't think he's going to go, right, I'm off, I'll see you later. I think he'll stay if he's offered the incentive. But West Ham need, there shouldn't be this trade-off between having Declan Rice and buying transfer. I think it's wrong. I don't believe, as hard up as they make out that they say they are, I don't believe that they are. I think they could have gone for a lot of these targets a lot sooner. I do think they've got the money. And if you're going to sell before you buy, sell someone else other than Declan, because it's like one of them things. He's just our prized asset, you know, and we need him for next season. So I think I'll go out on a limb here and say, at this point, I think he'll stay past the transfer window. I think next season, that could be a real problem. But what I will say, it's not down to football reasons here. So just remember that. It's not down to football reasons. If he goes before that end of that window, I promise you now, that is because David Gold and David Sullivan have made that decision to cash in on him. And it's whether they've got the bottle. You know, we saw with the Payet situation. Payet was one of the best players in Europe, easily. It should have been £50 million minimum. Should have absolutely gone through the roof with that transfer fee and reinvested. We sold him for 25 and we brought in Robert Snodgrass for 10 and we never saw £15 million again. Fact. It wasn't spent, yeah, all right, we had the £100 million transfer window, but it wasn't spent directly on a replacement. That's what you need to remember with what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with an ownership that will lose the bottle if they see it a pound no, and they won't put it back into the squad. And we are not in a position as a team. If we want to stabilise in the Premier League, if we want to give David Moyes the best chance, we cannot afford to sell our best player. So that was my take on us keeping Declan Rice this transfer window. I will revisit this point. I'm sure it's a saga that's going to drag and drag and drag. We've got till October to keep hold of him, and Chelsea's starting to move quickly. And I'm sure Frank will want to get those players in like Havertz and maybe a Tagliafico in quite early doors. So we'll have to have some serious resolve, but we've got to have some ambition. We've got to have some ambition. We've got to support Declan. We've got to show him that we're willing to push up the table, because as committed as I think he is to West Ham, and as much as I think that he's not going to kick up a fuss in the same way that Payet will, he needs to be shown that we're moving in the right direction. So as always, until next time, take care.